Hello, Joe from JK Online here. Just a quick announcement before we start this episode of Hot Topic. From this episode going forwards, we are now officially sponsored by Big Dick's Hot Sauce. They're a hot sauce company based in Maidstone, so nice and local to us. And this episode we have Rich, who is the owner of the hot sauce, on to talk about, well, what it's like really to be an owner of a hot sauce. And a bit about branding, because obviously the name is a bit different. So please enjoy the episode. If you want to find more out about this hot sauce, go to the description down below and please do buy some if you are into hot sauce. It is very nice. Thank you.
Right, so this is number 4 of JK's Hot Topics. We're joined by Rich, which is a little bit different because he's from a slightly different background to what we're normally used to with some of the people we've talked to before. But what's really awesome about it is that Rich comes from a company called Big Dick Hot Sauce, and he provides hot sauce, which obviously goes in quite nicely with what we're doing here. And he's now going to take over as our mildest sauce. So you'll be having your sauce every week on the show. And you guys are going to be looking after us a little bit and helping us out with that, which is great.
Great to be part of it.
Thank you very much for coming. So I think the first question I want to go through with you is just to get a gauge of how good you are with hot sauces and hot stuff. So what we normally do is ask you what your Indian takeaway order would be.
Chicken tikka madras.
Okay, that's one.
Yeah, so it's not full on, but
we've had some tikka masalas before, so I feel like you're going to be better than that at least. That's
I like a little bit of a kick.
Cool, okay. Right, so that's good to know. What we're going to do then, we're going to jump straight in. So if you can take a dip of your Big Dick sauce.
Sure.
Chuck that in.
Cool.
I mess around,
yeah.
Awesome. So the first question we're going to ask you is basically how on earth you've got into making hot sauce. Like, it's obviously a very different thing to be doing.
Yeah, it is a bit different. I didn't plan to do it.
I don't imagine many people do.
It was, a bit more.
Go for it. This is a professional. Look at that. It's nice, yeah.
Didn't plan to do it. I'm really into buffalo wings.
Yes.
And I was always on the hunt to try and find the best buffalo wing and whatever. And I was always just making it with a Frank's with butter at home.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make my own base. And so I started just cooking some batches out. But I couldn't get it quite right. It kind of just turned into a hot sauce.
Okay.
And then after that, people just started trying it and like, oh, can I get some? So I was just doing little bottles and putting them in jars and stuff and just popping them over. And I was getting more and more people say, oh, can I have some of your sauce? So what I did is I set up a Shopify store online and just put one bottle up, which is the only one I do.
Yeah.
Put it up online. All I did was I put it up online, put it on Facebook to say, if anyone wants any, here you go, here's the link, just buy it from there. Because I just couldn't be bothered going around to people's houses and picking up a little bit of cash. There you go, put it onto PayPal, whatever. Closed that down, got in the car, went off somewhere, and then my phone was just going ping, 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 ping with all these orders coming through. And I was like,
awesome.
What? And it just kind of kicked off. And I think I only made like 6 bottles that day. And I think I had like 30 to 50 orders coming through. And
wicked.
I was like, Jesus.
What a wicked start. That's a great start. Obviously,
yeah, it was great. It was wicked.
Any business, but that's exactly what you want your business to start like.
So from there, it just kind of got bigger and bigger. So I was like, yeah, cool.
Wicked. That's what a good start.
Yeah.
And I was trying to work out how that happens, like how you go from, because what's this is obviously a part-time venture.
Yeah.
What's your full-time thing you're doing at the moment?
So I've got my fingers in a few pies.
Okay.
So I'm a sound engineer. I record bands, but I also work in like customer service and sales with a flight case company. So we build like flight cases for TVs and music equipment.
Cool.
And then I do this. So yeah,
bit of everything.
Bit of everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as I say, slightly different end of the scale, hot sauces and sound engineering, but still cool.
It's kind of cool because I get a lot of bands come in and they say, "Oh, so here you do hot sauce," because I promote it through media and things like that. So I can sell to a few bands that come in.
Yeah. And I imagine that's also sort of in terms of demographics.
It kind of goes hand in hand, really.
Yeah. What your sort of brand and what you're promoting towards has got to be similar to sort of that sort of age group you're doing sound engineering
it's
for.
that kind of demographic of people just like fun stuff. If you're into music, you're usually not too.
Yeah, I think the name as well was obviously going to put you into a certain category of people you're going to be going towards.
Right. Yeah. I mean. It's not like
it's not I think true. The old grandma's going to be picking up Big Dicks anytime soon.
Exactly. But they're not going to be picking up hot sauce. So
exactly. I think it fits the demographic perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So on to the second topic and the second of the sauces. So
Cool.
this is the one that we had from the original one, but it's the hot pepper sauce.
Hot pepper sauce. What one is it? What's it?
It's West Indies.
Oh,
I think it's a Conda.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Joe in the corner. Like, I think it's
quite
right there. You can see it. Okay. Anyway, it's from Sainsbury's. It's from an actual shop. This one, like, it's not from like so it's a proper one.
Oh, let's go.
Are you going for doubles again? This is good.
Come on, let's go for it.
Sure, yeah, enjoy it. Make the most of it. Right. So we're going to talk about how you market your product. This is a huge thing that a lot of the small businesses that we talk to struggle with, is how they're going to get there. They've got an idea, how they get that out there, and they start making them conversations. So we've talked before, you do some stuff on social media, you've been to a few sort of expos and showed some stuff off. What's been good for you?
I think the name helps.
Yeah.
It does jump out. People see the name Big Dicks, I think, what is that about? So that, they just, it's clickbait, isn't it?
on that note, I imagine it's probably quite hard for Google and SEO. Like, as people searching in Big Dicks in Google,
yeah.
it's never good.
I mean, if you type in Big Dicks hot sauce, it's the first one that pops up.
Yes, I have seen it.
But if you type in Big Dicks, I'm not sure. I haven't
Get blocked on the work servers, it might not come up.
Not safe for work. But yes, I do a lot of Facebook and Instagram marketing. They're kind of linked anyway, but
you're doing quite well on it. I was looking at your Instagram earlier on. It's going well. I think
it's going all right. I mean, I don't post too much because I've been so busy with other things. I don't want to get too inundated with things and lose track of what I'm doing. But so I do little bits here and there.
Yeah, got it.
When I've got time.
And do you do paid stuff, or is it just you do a bit?
I do a bit of paid stuff. So I just set my target audience. I set it between, because I know my demographic is not going to be, like we said earlier, it's not going to be anywhere over 50s.
Yeah, it's a bit of market research just to find where you're the right place.
It's going to be England between this that like this hot sauce. Just do different brands and target towards them. And
you've been to a few of the expos and stuff as well.
Yeah. So
you went to quite a cool. It's like the Chile was
London's first hot sauce festival.
Wicked! What a cool thing! Must have been awesome in there.
It was in Peckham in London, and I think there was about 30 to 35 stalls.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
But it was great. It was wicked. So it was great to meet other people that were doing the same thing and learning how they do it. And
so are there many other people in Kent that are doing this? Because I know that there's.
I don't know many people apart from that. I know there's a chili farm in Dartford.
I've heard of the chili farm in Dartford, but I've never been there. But I'm not. I think they do a sauce. I think, but I think it might be a rub or something. It's not.
I don't think they're pushing that sort of thing. It's probably just something they do with the chilies. But I don't know of anyone else locally. Brighton, there's a few.
Okay. It's a bit of it's just demographic, isn't it?
Yeah.
The right demographics,
of course.
Yeah.
There's quite a few small hot sauce companies here in the UK, but none down here in Kent that I know of.
That's cool. It's good to be. That was a bit of a novelty.
It'd be good.
So, have you done any events? Have you gone out and done any events in Kent, or
is it London? One or two. I've done a few Christmas markets and some pubs and over Christmas.
And you've got some stuff in some restaurants as well. You've got some of your.
Yes, so there's
one. How do you go about that? I think that's the question that would be good, because that's obviously really impressive. I was really impressed when I heard that. So
again, just been having things in a few pies in the music industry. I know different people that love hot food and love heavy music. So there's a guy that I know that's in a few bands that's got his own pub in Canterbury called the Monument. Yeah. Shepherd Neame pub, and
is it vegan? Is it vegan?
Yeah, it's a vegan. Yeah, it's a vegan restaurant.
Okay.
And because he hit me up straight away, when I said earlier about I've just bought it out, he messaged me straight away saying, "Is it vegan?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I need it in my pub." I was like, "Cool." So it's just
it's such a good bit of advertising, because if it's in somewhere where we can go and try it, and they're more likely to come and get it.
And I've had so many orders from people that said, "I've seen it in the Monument in Canterbury, and it's been great." But I've had a few in different places in Epsom, Black's Burgers. They've had it in quite a few of their stores. Yeah, it's really good, again, just from knowing people just saying, "Oh, you should try this," and then they go, "Love it. Let's have it in the store." There was a shop.
It's a bit of network, isn't it? Really. So it's people previously, just leaning on them a little bit to use it.
And you have got to lean a little bit, and because you are selling at the end of the day, you're not just doing it as a hobby, which it did start off to be. But
did you? So when you first started out, were you giving it to them for free and being like, "Here's this," or were you still charging them for it?
I mean, I was just doing. I think I went to just a shop and just bought some little bottles and just saying, oh, here you go. But it was costing quite a bit.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, if you want it, you've got to pay for it.
Yeah, which makes sense, yeah. Because I think like doing it at a cost to start with, to get your brand out there is fine, but you've got to make money out of it, ultimately. So
I mean, when I was doing it small scale, I was selling it for cost. And that was what it's still selling for now, but because I'm doing it in large quantities, then it brings my
cost price down.
Yeah,
so of course.
I can actually make a bit of profit off it.
And we looked at it as well, and it actually is very reasonably priced at the moment.
Yeah.
So definitely.
So
if people are looking for hot sauce, now is the time to get it, because I'm sure that price has got to go up.
Because it's only 100 ml, so it's a little bit smaller than an average bottle. So I didn't want to go too overboard.
It's local as well, though. People pay more for local, don't they? So.
I know, but if you see people online.
Yeah, you got obviously your market's online predominantly, so I guess you've got to compete with that.
Exactly.
So that makes sense.
And if I don't want to price it too high because people might not go for it, and
definitely
plus postage, it's just.
Yeah, and also you've got to make the sauce, and also you've got to go and post it, and that all takes time, and you've got to influence all that into what your cost is.
Yeah, it's just being a one-man business as well. But I do have help.
Yes,
occasionally.
From other people.
Yeah,
someone's in the room here. She's looking, giving you the emails from the corner. Yeah, cool. But it's really interesting. I think it's really good to see. I think your brand, and we're going to go on to that in a bit, but the brand is obviously really helpful in your marketing. But to see that you're doing so many different things, and it shows people that who are starting up that actually online isn't the only avenue. It's a very good one. Yeah. But there is other avenues you can go through with that.
I mean, farmers markets, farmers shops as well. I mean, there was a shop that's shut now, but it was just predominantly chili sauces. So it's just going down there, hello, try the sauce, I want it in the shop. And they go, cool, buying bottles. It's just popping out and seeing people.
It's just good business as well, isn't it? Just people that are just genuinely there for supporting the local community. And I think actually there's a lot more of that happening. There's one in Folkestone we went to recently, actually, that just does Kent-based produce. That's all it sells.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to tell you about afterwards.
Okay,
but there's a place that only does Kent-based produce. And it's really busy. So people in there, they do like all different range of things. They have stuff I know from that's where I actually came across the Dartford chili farm.
Oh, okay.
So they have stuff in there, but they've also got like local beers, ciders, things like that as well. So
awesome.
it's really cool to fit. And I think a lot of them, people wanting to shop local now, and that's cool, and that's a good option.
Yeah, I think people,
especially you're the only one.
People do want to shop local. It's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, I guess it's all the carbon emission stuff is obviously less carbon emissions if you're keeping stuff close to where you are. So makes sense. Yeah. Cool. Right. We're going to go on to the last one. This is, we used to use the Arse Blaster. Okay. It only comes in little tiny bottles. Yeah. So we've used it up. So we're now going to have to go on to spontaneous combustion, which I feel like it's probably similar in terms of its heat level considering its name. Obviously they're both not very nice sounding.
I'm up for it.
I know from the previous people that you're probably not going to appreciate this because the taste is definitely isn't there. There's nothing about taste.
No, it's not taste.
It's all about heat. But we're going to use this opportunity for you to have a talk about your brand name because I think it's obviously interesting. But first,
brand name in pain.
Get stuck. Yeah, brand name in pain. I like it. That's going to be the hashtag at the top of it. Yeah, cool. Right,
let's go.
Get stuck in.
Do you know, I'm not even going to pussyfoot around about it. Let's just go for it.
Yeah. Nice. That's a proper big.
Yeah.
That'll do. Right. Cool. So we're going to talk about branding.
Oh, immediate.
And the brand name. So.
Go on, go and double dip.
Go for it, yeah, crack on. Right, so Big Dicks, obviously, I think it's an absolutely great name. I'm definitely in your demographic of people that you'd be advertising to. I imagine that you're going to come across people that don't find it funny and that don't, and I assume probably don't care, and that's not aimed at them.
Exactly. If they don't like it, I don't care. Don't buy it.
Yeah, and
none of the people that I want to market to.
Yeah, so niching is obviously a massive thing, and what you've done is you've niched into a market that is going to buy your stuff, which is great.
Yeah.
What I want to hear some great stories about you going to these trade fairs, especially Christmas markets, and then people will just go in, reading it, and I can just see their faces now looking at it.
Thing is,
big dicks, and then walking off.
That's basically it. They come over, they go, and people will laugh, but then they come over and go, "Why the name?" And I say, "Well, my name's Rich."
Yeah,
it's just I am Big Dick, so.
I feel like there's better answers you could have said, which probably would have gone down as well.
No, but
that's a sensible answer. Yeah, I like it. It's good.
But I didn't want to. With the name Big Dick, you could have gone down the route of say like the Arse Blaster with the label being of something.
Yeah, something a bit
phallus,
obscene.
you know. But I didn't want to go down that route. I wanted to. I know it sounds really weird, but a luxury brand. It's not a luxury brand, but it's
a higher end market. And I think you can still be like. There's so many brands that are like that at the moment. Do you think that things like WeWork? I think WeWork, so it's a big co-working space in London. it's still a fun space, but it's still a really high level.
Yeah,
They've not skimped out on how the level of it is, and I think that's exactly where that fits. It's still. It's not tacky.
It's not tacky.
It could definitely have been tacky with a logo, with a name of Big Dicks,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's still a smart looking logo. We've got you've given us a t-shirt, it's lovely. But yeah, you can see, and I think it's got a lot of opportunity in terms of branding. As you said, just for stopping, we always talk about stopping the scroll. So when people are on Facebook and they're looking through, if some Big Dicks come up, I'd stop. It's make me laugh. It's funny, isn't it? So you stop and you have a look at it, and then potentially, if I'm interested, I'll go through to your website, and then I can then go, and if that all works, and it does. I've seen it. It all works as you go through. Yeah. Someone buys your sauces.
I mean, it's all got to tie in as well. You know, you've got to have the logo everywhere. You've got to have the name plastered everywhere. Branding is key, isn't it?
Yeah, and we've got a big thing. So I'm not sure. You don't think you do much networking, but we go out and do a lot of networking when we're here. And the first thing we did when we first started is we got a Hawaiian shirt that I wear, and Joe wears a matching Hawaiian tie. And the reason we did it is just because we'd go to a room of people that are full of wearing suits or something, and we'd instantly stick out.
Yeah.
That's exactly what your brand name does against its competitors. It stands out. And actually, in this day and age, I think you have to do that. Otherwise, you just get lost into a sea of other people.
You really will. And like I said, that expo we went to, the amount of people that will come past and just read it and stop and then talk to you about it.
Yeah.
It's just,
you said there's 35 people in that building. If you go to the Tesco, Sainsbury's, you look at the hot sauce thing now. There's loads of sauces now.
It's loads.
It's obviously it's suddenly taken a big.
It's really blown up, which is great.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you people will get lost, so you need to
definitely.
push.
You think about sriracha. So sriracha, I don't really remember sriracha being around that long ago, and now it's everywhere, isn't it? Sriracha mayo and all this stuff's popped up. It's just come from nowhere.
I think it got imported a couple of years ago, maybe 8 years.
I first saw it in Wagamama's.
Oh,
It's
really?
the first place I saw it. I don't know if that was somewhere else before that, but that's where I first saw it pop up. And it's everywhere. And I said I went into Tesco the other day, and they have sriracha mayo now, because that's sort of been the next thing, and that's the trendy thing you see in a lot of these bars now, where they're making burgers. Has always got sriracha mayo in it, and I think hot sauce is definitely trendy, and to capitalise on it, but again, staying different from your competitors. That's what it's all about.
God, I got a little bit lightheaded after that. It took a little while to kick in, but I was like, wow.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a late one. Yeah, as I said, probably no flavour texture.
Oh no, not at all.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't actually read the baggage bottle, but the other bottle, it says like hints of garlic. Where them hints are,
no,
God knows. But yeah, it's not nice, but does a job. And you got through. I didn't mention the milk either. It's nobody's supposed to go like, oh, this is the kudos. Where you can get it. I assume you would be fine. It's literally your job. Yeah, cool, man. Well, it was really interesting talking to you. And I said we're going to put some stuff down below in the description about where they can come and buy your sauce from. I've tried them personally. Absolutely great. I think they're really nice. I'm a really big fan of hot sauce, hence the whole thing. Beetlestone, you guys get behind it and sponsor and help them out, and also buy some. They're great. Yeah, really good. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Thank you very much.
Really good to.
Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Can you give us do you know your Instagram handles off the top of your head?
Yeah, it's Big Dick's Hot Sauce with underscores. That's big
instead of spaces.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, look him up on Instagram, follow stuff. It's really interesting, and look forward to seeing the rest of your story.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Man.
Cheers.
Cool.
Thanks for having me.